When Idris Elba was booked for our interview, many people around our office asked if there was anything they could do to see him in person. He has that kind of effect on people.
What are you doing here?
I sat down with Elba to talk about his film Beasts of No Nation that tackles the issue of child soldiers. But the conversation turned to those leaked Sony emails suggesting he might become the next James Bond, and the uproar of being called too street for the role. So I do have to ask you about James Bond.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
So Daniel Craig, someday, they all step down someday. Would you like that role?
It's a great role. I mean, people have asked me that all the time, and I've said, yeah, playing James Bond, who would not want to play that? It's a great role.
So there's lots of chatter that you're one of the favorites. Are you in negotiation right now that you'd like to tell us about?
Not at all. It is the wildest rumor in the world.
It's a good one, though. Well, it's more than a rumor. It was Sony executives talking about you. They kind of
apparently. But here's the thing. I'm complimented by it because it's a great character. It's a legacy of a character. But it's not mine. There are lots of really good actors that are probably more suited for the role. More suited, as in the author saying that you're street? No comment. Really? Yeah. That must have been disappointing, though. A little tiresome. If I'm honest, I'm like on a 19-hour day. I hear that. I mean, it doesn't change my life. I mean, it caused an absolute storm. I think among young people, they were horrified that I think things really are changing. The idea that you wouldn't be classy enough, it was just ridiculous. The truth of it is, the younger people certainly hearing this. What does the word street mean? What does he mean by that? It's a stereotype, so on and so forth, and of course it's going to be shocking. But like I said, from my perspective, everyone has a nose and everyone has an opinion. So what are you going to do? Is it bad to be street? I have no clue. Are you street? I'm definitely from the street.
Hi, Wendy. Oh, nice to see you.
Yeah.
I'm still celebrating, so you're going to get a surfeit of joy from me.
It didn't take long for Margaret Trudeau to stir up a bit of controversy again. The mother of the Prime Minister broke the news to the country that he and his family wouldn't be moving to 24 Sussex until it was renovated. When we sat down, we spoke about many things and about whether Justin Trudeau is more Margaret or Pierre, and who gave him that hair. During that period when so many people were arguing that Justin's just not ready, a lot of journalists wrote that he's more Margaret's son than Pierre's son. And it wasn't
How is that
meant as a compliment.
You know what I think about Just is that obviously it's easy to just define Pierre and I. He was reason and logic, and I'm passion and free form. No, we're both a little bit of the other, and I certainly was raised in a certain way by Pierre Trudeau's reason and logic as well. He had such a fine mind, a disciplined mind. Justin has the best of both of us, I think. He's got my love, my spirit, my loving. I mean, I just embrace life, and I.
So is this a victory for your style of living and child raising and?
But I didn't do it
over
alone.
reason?
No, it's not. It's giving the children the chance to have both, to know how to have fun, how to be warm and kind, how not to be greedy, how not to be putting, letting money follow behind you in your life, not grabbing. There's a lot of things that we learned about service from Pierre and the way the children were raised about giving instead of taking. So I think that Justin is a mixture of us both. I think he's a very complete person. All on his own. He may have my hair.
Oh, that's where the nice hair
He certainly didn't have his dad's.
I met up with John Irving at his home office in Toronto to talk about his latest novel, Avenue of Mysteries, a story that once again hits upon those familiar Irving-esque themes: sexuality, faith, and perhaps, most of all, being an outsider. You obviously identify with or sympathize with outsiders. Are you an outsider?
Gee, growing up and living most of my life in the United States, I would have to say that I have often felt more like a foreigner in my own country than I've been made to feel in the other so-called foreign countries where I've lived. Even before I knew I wanted to be a writer, even as a child, I knew, unnaturally for most children, I knew how much of the day I needed to spend alone. I saw enough of my friends in school. I didn't want to play with them after school. I didn't want to go to their houses or have them come to mine. I wanted to get away. I wasn't conscious yet that I was writing, but I was conscious that I liked being somewhere, imagining that I was somewhere else.
'Tis the season when Canadians dig into their pockets to give to charity. This past September, an NHL player took that above and beyond. Montreal Canadiens star PK Subin gave $10 million to a children's hospital. The donation is said to be the biggest by a sports figure in Canadian history. I wanted to know what motivated a hockey player to become a philanthropist. $10 million, that's a lot of money. How did you come up with that? I mean, I know you make a lot of money, but still, 10 million.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, but I think my focus is, and where I think everybody else's focus should be, is how many families that's going to help. The way that I see it is the first day that I made the donation and walking down the street and having kids come up to me and telling me that, for the first 3 years of their lives they spent in the hospital, and hearing stories like that from people every day, whether it's kids or parents. So a lot of people were able to resonate with that type of donation and that type of commitment. And you know what, there's no other way to explain it, but we always say it, but sometimes you got to put your money where your mouth is.
You didn't want to buy like a yacht or a jet?
I might need a little bit more than 10 million to buy a yacht. You know what? No, I mean, for everybody has the ability to spend money on whatever it is that makes them feel happy. When I went to Haiti, I really got a good taste of what some people go through around the world, and I was there for 4 days, and it wasn't a very good 4 days. I mean, seeing families, it was only about a year. It's a year after the disaster there, and I couldn't imagine still what I was seeing, but when I came back, you just quickly realize how good we have it here, and I wanted to help people.
It's not unusual to be loved.
And finally, singer Tom Jones is often remembered as the guy with those swiveling hips and Vegas persona, but there's more substance to that style.
I was born with a gift of a golden voice.
Sir Tom has reinvented himself as a respected performer of the blues. In our interview, he revealed how he'd modeled his music after the great blues singer Wilson Pickett. But then, when he got to meet Pickett, it all got a bit complicated. Tell me about what happened. You went for a drink with Wilson Pickett, and he went from your best buds to...
Right. So Wilson Pickett had a single on Hey Jude. He had taken an iconic Beatles song and turned it into a soul record.
Take a sad song and make it better, yeah.
And I thought that was incredible. So when he was on my TV show, I said, could we do that? He said, sure. So we did it, and I mean, it's great. And everybody that's seen it since, I've said, what a great moment. And then so when we were out drinking afterwards, we went to see Benny King in a club in London, and then ended up back in Wilson's hotel room. And I said, it's great, to have people like you on the show, because I really love singing rhythm and blues. He said, that wasn't rhythm and blues. He said, that was an excuse for rhythm and blues. I said, it didn't seem like that to me. No, he said, because you're white. You white, people. He said, before long, we're not going to need you. We'll have our own TV shows. We'll have our own. I said, wait a minute. Whoa. You know, what's going on? I just loved singing it. You know what I mean? But he got a bit, as we say in England, a bit unlovely.